Thunderbirds host the Melbourne Mavericks here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. I'm Bianca Chaplin. Emily Beaton is alongside me in commentary. Let's take a look at the Woolworths team cards. For the Thunderbirds, they're lining up with Aiken George and Frew in their attack end. Their sturdy mid-quarters, Hodges, Williams and Wilson. And then, of course, the powerhouse in Garrett and Sterling Humphrey. Expect changes because they always make changes. All 10 often take the court.
For the Mavericks, they've gone with Shimona Jock. Elle Cardwell back in the side, gets the goal attack bib. Taylor Fraser in at wing attack. Maisie Nankerville in centre. Molly Jovic out of this side. Captain Parmenter at wing defence. Jenna and Lewis rounding out the defence, NB.
And gets us underway. Aiken George, hand up early. Straight away, Nankerville swats the ball out. Cross court they go. Hodges not enough to grab the ball. Early mistake for the Thunderbirds.
There was a strong 2-on-1 in the circle. Then Jenna and Lewis both back on Romelda Aiken George.
Liv Lewis for the Mavericks, getting more court time as Wilson just takes out Jenna's leg.
That's it.
Cardwell to Fraser. Fraser, of course, getting the start in the absence of Jovic. Jock. The short miss, but that gets the Mavericks on the board.
Surprising, the Thunderbirds are actually the best defensive rebounder, but Shimona Jock up there getting the height above Shamira Sterling Humphrey.
We've got to talk about the dominance of the Jamaicans. Teammates up against each other, usually getting to play with each other for the Sunshine Girls. Jock over the hands of Garrett, scores 2 in a couple of seconds.
Strong start from the Mavs. They're looking really composed so far. Can't say the same for the Thunderbirds just yet. We'll see what this approach is like.
And the vision there from Williams to Aiken George. We've seen it build over the season and continues to get stronger.
That connection has built and built, and I think it's one of Williams' best strengths as a player is the way that she can look over the top of everything, but the execution of it never falls short.
Cardwell out early, long to Nankerville. It's a balk and a placement straight to Jock. The Mavericks playing with such speed.
Absolutely, and that's Maddie Brown called for who was going to get that depth, and Maisie Nankerville the one providing it so far.
Gorgeous, double play with Frew. Again, back to Frew. Up and over the top of Lewis. Of course, the height mismatch there in the circle. Lewis at 184 centimetres, up against 196 centimetres from Melbourne Aiken George. Nankerville to Cardwell up the middles. Again, Jock.
I love that centre pass by the Mavs. You see Taylor Fraser doing a lot of first phase work. And Cardwell's sitting right back. I wonder whether that's to just, you know, work her into the game and get her to go for the shot more rather than the assisting out the front.
Hodges takes the cut.
Great tussle there with Maisie Nankerville. Maisie's one that's going to know these mid-court players better than anyone.
And you can hear the boos from the Adelaide crowd here. Of course, Maisie Nankerville, she's the true blue South Australian, isn't she?
Born and bred. She's a country girl from the southeast of SA. Came through she actually debuted before Taylor Williams here. They've had a bit of tussle in that mid-court. Maisie's moved on to another club, opening up that spot for Taylor.
Jenna to Parmenter. Straight away, the Mavericks find the middle channel, work off that.
Contact, goal shooter.
And it's a contact call against Jock. A small win for Sterling Humphrey. You can see the smile on Jock's face. I'm not quite sure that she's that happy with the call. Garrett. Long and high. A goal defence loves a goal assist, and Aiken George makes it count.
And how much do you love having a tall goal shooter like that you can just vomit into?
And the centre pass misjudged. Parmenter looks confused. Nankerville needed to release it.
It's one thing we talk about these Thunderbirds defenders, but it is a whole unit thing. That was Georgie Hoare just rushing down that forced that error.
Goalkeeper contact. Goal defence contact around the arm. Yes.
Aiken George with the short shot. Shooting 4 from 4.
Obstruction wing defence.
Long. Sterling Humphrey. Makes it look so easy, but she was in the right position. And another steal back from Parmenter.
The Mavs are really running through on this ball and they are absolutely ripping everything in. Nankerville then Parmenter, they want this win.
Goal defence contact. Goal defence outside the circle.
Mavs need to make sure that they've got front options
Outside
coming
with the goal
onto the ball,
defence.
not just going away, because otherwise they're playing into those Jamaicans' hands.
Mavericks.
Hardwell, not too much applause, but sinks another one for the Mavericks. They take their lead out by 1. Over the top to Fraser. You can see there, Jock with her hand
Contact
in the air.
goalkeeper.
She's
Yeah.
ready for it.
That's it. Goalkeeper at the side.
Cardwell wants to get on with it quickly.
Thunderbirds.
Advantage contact.
Gorgeous.
Centre.
Then go long and high. This time Aiken George tried to flick it over.
There's been a few uncharacteristic feeds from Georgie Hoare just into the goal circle. She's been under pressure and I think that's the close attention that she's getting from Parmenter. We don't usually see her rattled.
We said it in the pre-game, the amount of work that Kim Jenner and Amy Parmenter have been doing in the past couple of weeks. Totally different players they are for the Mavericks.
Goal attack contact.
And where they do a lot of their work is in attack.
Absolutely, they're on everything and just the intensity of everything that they're doing is really getting into the heads, I think, of the Thunderbirds early.
Cardwell. Ably assisted by Jock.
Thunderbirds.
The Mavericks continue their run. Gorgeous.
Centre contact. Goal third.
Interesting to see that sag back also for Jenna, going straight back into the circle with Lewis. Their positioning's really well, and I think it's causing that deception and also frustration on the feed to know where to put it.
It's Frew and Aitken George set up together, as the shooters love to do in this position.
Goal defence. You're
Protecting
running onto her arm.
the space for Aitken George, and it is a contact in the end. But a smart play from the Thunderbirds attackers.
Mavericks.
Haven't seen much of Frew yet so far in this game. I think she needs to step up a little bit at the moment, really demand the ball. That tussle with Jenna is going to be a tight one, that tight one-on-one.
Jenna. Ready for the reset. Garrett has a look. Nankerville from the middle. It's a dodge along the baseline from Cardwell. That quad injury doesn't seem to be hampering her so far in this game. We did question whether she's on managed minutes. She's missed 2 games with that injury.
She's looking pretty sharp at the moment, I've got to say. Maybe the rest has done her some good.
Obstruction goal attack. Goal attack contact.
That approach, though, from Maisie Nankerville, that was a feed from the circle edge, something they're doing so well so far. The Thunderbirds, not so much. All their feeds off circle.
Mavericks.
Nankerville leading the way with the circle feeds. Parmenter doing a huge amount of ball carrying for the Mavericks. Jock in front, steps forward into the hands of Sterling Humphrey, doesn't phase her one bit.
Plenty of balks there by the Mavs attacks as well, not just on that 1 second, going for the 2 second play as well.
That combined with their agility, Mads, that's really opening up for them.
Mavericks.
Aitken George with the 7th one for the Thunderbirds.
Footwork.
Shooting at 86%, and here's a stepping call. You'd already called that, Em.
Just call me an umpire. I'll put on the white next week.
Matilda Garrett
Contact.
gets it to Williams, just, I might add.
We've talked a lot about Elle Cardwell, Maisie Nankerville as the ex-Thunderbirds, but Tracy Neville knows this side and she knows the tactics. The Thunderbirds attackers are really getting held up at the moment, and I think that is Tracy Neville, who used to be the Thunderbirds attack coach, knowing exactly what they want to do.
Of course, the assistant coach with the Thunderbirds in their premiership year last year. Now the head coach of the Mavericks.
Ready, straight with defense.
One game, they're certainly giving a lot of attention to Georgie Horges.
Absolutely RB, and a lot of it is once she gets that first phase on the centre pass, they're holding her up. It's Fraser and Cardwell not even allowing her over the transverse line.
We'll certainly keep an eye on that physicality. The pressure is on for the Mavericks. They are fighting for that fourth position on the ladder, and certainly a win tonight will go a long way in helping them secure it. And for the Thunderbirds, the top two finish is what they want. Matilda Garrett chases it up. Back in the hands of the Thunderbirds.
Hold time. Centre, that's intentional.
An intentional call against the Mavericks defenders. We said it was getting physical.
Yeah, Maisie Nankerville's up to 6 penalties already. A lot of physicality.
You really do get the feeling that's part of the game plan. Add the physicality, add the pressure, try and force some errors. And Taylor Williams tried her best from behind. Lewis. Jenna takes the cut and drive. Wants to go long, needs an option. There's Cardwell. Cross court, opens it up perfectly for Jock.
Interesting in that approach that Elle Cardwell was actually screening Latanya Wilson. We've seen the impact that Wilson's had in previous weeks. They're trying to get her out of the game, and she hasn't had a lot of impact yet.
Step back. Yes.
Cardwell smartly, I don't know if it was smartly in the end, but she knew Garrett was coming for it. Got it down, and then Jock adds another one to the Mavericks. They're out by 2. Let's look at the Harvey Norman replay, just over the hands of Sterling Humphrey. You can see the pressure here for the Thunderbirds. They get out of jail, up and over the top they go to Aiken George.
Get the feeling that every time that Romelda Aiken George is one-on-one in the circle, the Thunderbirds have got full license to send it.
Been really impressed with the Mavs, the give and go over that transverse line, apart from that pass, but just that patience to get it down. Previous weeks we've seen them just look long and sometimes throw it.
Super shot from Elle Cardwell. Something the Thunderbirds are really missing this year is her impact to just turn and bomb it in the 2-point zone.
Of course, Gabby Sinclair for the Mavericks was phenomenal in her performance. It's hard for her not to get the start, I'm sure, today after her performance, but Cardwell's in the team. She's fit.
I was going to say, you know you're a good player as Cardwell if you're keeping someone who's shot 100%.
Now take a look to the right-hand side of your screen. Cardwell will sit on the hold, comes off it, is not doing the huge amount of running that we've seen from her. Doesn't come off this time. Williams, long ball to Garrett. Gorgeous resets. And through. Solo on her own outside. Misjudged, Aitken George.
Goalkeepers stop contacting after the shot.
And Lewis is getting told the contacts, they're being watched. This time it's Jenna out. Williams needs to go over. Aiken George scores her 11th. Scores her even.
Such a strong target back there, Romelda Aiken George.
It's a wayward pass. Horges was waiting.
Thunderbirds are number 1 for pickups. They're 11 in front of the next best side, which just happens to be the Mavericks.
Williams plays on quickly.
Contact, swing advantage offside.
Plenty of time. We've got 25 seconds left in the first.
Circle edge.
Williams will go over the top. Thunderbirds with the centre pass. They've scored the last 4, certainly now leading the way in this first quarter. The first time we've seen them lead for the first quarter. Emily Beaton, you get the feeling we've got a game on our hands. The Mavericks have come out to play tonight.
Oh, absolutely they have. They've got so much to play for, looking for their first finals berth in their first year as a team, and they are hungry for this. They are fighting for everything.
Well, it is round 11. The Thunderbirds leading by 1. Don't go anywhere. We've got the second quarter coming up next. And there is that live ladder. As it stands right now, obviously the upset with Firebirds beating the Fever drops them down the ladder slightly. And a win from Sterling Humphrey. She throws it straight back out of court though. If they keep leading the way, that will boost them up the ladder. And the Vixens and the Swifts yet to come tomorrow.
The second quarter for the Mavs is their worst quarter. The best quarter for the Thunderbirds is the second quarter, so really interesting to see how this plays out.
Cardwell steadies, gets the Mavs back on the board.
Interesting what Nick Richardson was saying in the break, B, about that 2-point shot zone. The Thunderbirds are the worst in the league, only shooting 45%. As a defender, would you usually let them have a go at that?
You have to, really. Don't you play the percentages? It's like if you have a shooter on the court who's not putting up as many shots, isolate her, make her shoot, protect the one that's doing all the damage. Cardwell using the ball just to push off the defensive end of the Thunderbirds. Fraser finds some space. They go high to Jock. A battle in the air. A short one for Jock, and the Thunderbirds pounce.
Sterling Humphrey, a bit of a hit in the back of play here.
Aiken George. Again, the Jamaicans putting on a show down both ends of the court here at Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Through to Horges. Aiken George just front position.
Contact just before release. That's it, just there.
Another miss for the Thunderbirds.
Offensive
We
structure.
know they often do this. You usually see it from Aiken George, but it is a HCF tactical timeout. The Adelaide Thunderbirds have called it.
Thunderbirds timeout.
This time we're going to put our Fox Netball microphones into the huddle and have a listen in. There's Shamira Sterling Humphrey, who's got hit in the face, we believe, and we'll just keep an eye on her. She's being taken off the court now with the team physio. We'll get Maddie Brown to go and check it out.
All right, good start. Okay, circle edge, just above the head, in the feet. Yeah, above the head. Yeah, but keep those double plays between the three. Yeah. All right. George and Loz to flood a bit more at centre half. Flood a bit more at centre half. Okay, we just control the middle space, basics, that's all we need to do. Coaches. I hands over every pass coming from here, so it helps. Love it, let's go! Circle 3, 1, 2, 3!
As the Thunderbirds coming out back on court, Sterling Humphrey there, sitting with the medical team. Let's take a look at what happened.
My left eardrum, and I loved every second of it.
Oh, it is her head. She's got a hand on her head there, just in the rebounding position against Aiken George. A big loss for the Thunderbirds. And of course, we know there is the ruling. The medical team have to look at it. If there is any head-high contact, the concussion policy and protocol will be implemented, but it's the medical team that have to decide that. There's an independent doctor at every single game in Suncorp Super Netball.
Thunderbirds!
Luckily for the Thunderbirds, they're used to rotate. We don't usually see Sterling Humphrey off, but we know Latanya Wilson is an incredible goalkeeper.
Obstruction goalkeeper.
This is where the rotations the Thunderbirds have been showing all season come in very handy when there is a big out. Cardwell back to Parmenter. Over the hands of Garrett. Cardwell's got to go forward. Cross to Cardwell. Here they go. Double plays all over the court for the Mavericks. Wilson tries to fly high. Jock balances, steps forward. I don't know why she stepped forward, but still manages to sneak it over the top of the ring. Nankerville.
Contact, all defense.
Very physical on that circle there.
Say the pressure.
Through hitting the deck.
Just an update, ladies, on Sterling Humphrey. She has gone behind the scene with the doctors, obviously, to get assessed, and her bib is off. So this could be a really troublesome time or a different move that we haven't seen for the Thunderbirds all season.
Gorgeous.
Obstruction, wing defense.
Up against the contest of Parmenter. Over the top they go to Aiken George.
Step back, step back. It's just
That's
your
where I'd
arm.
like to see
Side arm.
Frew being a bit more
Side arm.
dynamic in her entry then. Just then she ducked behind and kind of sat, which didn't pull any defender off of Romelda Aiken George. Makes it very difficult to feed.
Of course, Lauren Frew making her debut this season with the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Replacing in the side Eleanor Cardwell with the ball in hand right now. Nankerville straight across the circle, and Cardwell drives forward. Not much pressure on Eleanor Cardwell. The playmaker down in the attack at the moment.
Absolutely, and they need to the Thunderbirds need to make sure they get the Mavericks off the circle. Taylor Fraser there just sitting on the edge, being able to feed without too much pressure on either.
Taylor lifts it high. Aiken George knocks it down. The Thunderbirds out by 3. Just on the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. Hannah Petty taking charge. The captain of the side in at wing defence.
They've been really confident to put the ball into Shimona Jock. It's been awesome to see from the Mavs. I've loved also seeing Latanya Wilson as she's moved into that goalkeeper. Her footwork, the way that they move, she's in the right position all the time. Next step is to get up and get those touches.
Advantage contact, goal attack!
Jenna tries to cut off the lateral ball. It's a fake across. Aiken George again under the post. Liv Lewis has got her work cut out for her up against Aiken George. It's a real calm Adelaide Thunderbirds at the moment, really. Nothing seems to be phasing them. And there's a big win for Latanya Wilson. She timed her jump to perfection, coming over the top as Jock was coming down.
She's incredible. How many players can go from wing defence to goalkeeper, lose nothing, come up with ball, and still look specky in everything they do?
I think the Mavericks players were right. One of the most dominant plays we've seen this season. A contact call against Jenna. Frew.
Obstruction goalkeeper. Side and away.
And
Obstruction goal defense, both players.
the penalties are starting to rack up for the Mavericks. Look at this Harvey Norman replay. She taps it and again collects it in the air. Matilda Garrett on hand in backup position.
Outside.
We talk about the penalties here, Em.
And another one to Jenna outside of the circle. They need to start cleaning that up. And as we talked pre-game, when Parmenter and Jenna have cleaned up their penalties, that's when their wins have started to come and they've got more balls.
Kim Jenna, number 3 in the league for penalties. It's something she's really reduced a lot in the last couple of weeks, but starting to accumulate them now. She's sitting on 10, and we still have 8 minutes to play in this second quarter. It is a HCF tactical timeout. Let's take a listen into the Mavericks.
It's too easy. We're gifting that, and we've got no pressure on second base. So I want us to go harder on first. So you can't give first. Let them get there.
Let's go, yeah. Strong on it. Yeah, tap plays. Yeah. Move in and then hold it on. Yeah. No, just hold it. Just keep moving and keep working on that.
And then play it off that. But I want more pressure. It could be 2-on-1, 1-on-1, and it has to be more pressure. And then the coordination between you two, who's then going back to pick up Tay. But at the moment, it's too easy with absolutely zero pressure on them.
I'm pushing wide, but you're sitting middle in case she cuts in, and we can switch across, you know what I mean? So stay in.
Put more pressure. Pressure them.
We are going hard indeed. We need turnover, okay? We want it from you guys, okay? Demanding it this quarter. Let's go. Let's go. Mavs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Mavs, let's go.
Have fun, guys.
The Mavs absolutely calling for more pressure from their players. Romelda Aiken-George at the moment dominating for the Thunderbirds. They need more from Liv Lewis and the players out in front.
Over in the T-Bird camp, there was a massive cheer. I don't know whether you heard it, but Sterling Humphrey came back out. She's got the bib on. She's on the bike. She's getting ready. The Thunderbirds talked a lot about Gabby Sinclair coming on, and what potency she can bring in this 5 minutes coming up.
Straight away, the Mavericks get to experiment with this attack line. Sinclair, simply brilliant, but Wilson has an answer for everything. Moving Wilson back to goalkeeper has brought her back into the game. After a quiet first quarter, it is the Thunderbirds by 5. Still 2.5 minutes before we enter the Power 5. Fraser lifts it up. Wilson stuck on the body of Cardwell.
Thunderbirds!
Williams, long to Hodges. The defensive end of the Mavericks, all sitting in the middle corridor. Aiken-George with the layup.
We'd love to see it, don't we? The confidence to turn and just go for it.
I just love seeing her just charge at the post. It's brilliant to watch.
There's something about these Jamaican players as well. When they're all in a team together, I know that Romelda Aiken-George lives with Shamira Sterling Humphrey. They love each other. I've heard actually that Shamira Sterling Humphrey sleeps a lot.
The Jamaican way, hey? Maybe that's what we were missing in our careers, just the extra sleep to help us.
100%, I'm still missing it now.
And Sinclair takes her first. 100% accuracy from Gabby Sinclair last week against the Firebirds. Williams long to Aiken-George. We're seeing it time and time again. They're not even having to rely on that circle edge feed.
That ability to sight and turn quickly, and then Liv Lewis's eyes are down. It's that split second that Williams can execute.
Kim Jenna just tweaking the left ankle here.
Go this side, this side.
Jenna playing on. Sinclair has to go over the hands of Garrett. Great pressure from Matilda Garrett. Really caused that error.
And she can be quite unsung in there at goal defence. She's a tight one-on-one player, allows those other defenders, as Liv Lewis comes through, but she allows those other players, Sterling Humphrey and Wilson, to fly off because she is taking her player out the game.
We heard in the last HCF tactical timeout, the Mavericks need some gain ball. Who will be the first to come up with it? Lewis with the pressure over the shot. The defenders go for the 1-2, but Frew has an answer. Thunderbirds with more turnovers. Oh, sorry, that's goals from turnovers. Aiken-George, she gets called for a stepping.
Love to see the replay on that one because it looked good straight up.
The crowd here are questioning it. Let's take a look. I mean, it looked good.
It looked good
From our end.
Hope she keeps doing it.
Cardwell down the other end.
Much better supply to Cardwell there. I think the choice of pass from the feeders in the Mavs team have been a little bit off, as we see a little bit of argy-bargy there, but much better supply to obviously Cardwell. Shimona Jock also in the back of play, putting the goalkeeper bib on.
Shimona Jock has entered the game at goalkeeper. Up against Aiken George. We've seen it before for the Melbourne Mavericks. They have pulled this move.
Contact, centre.
Well, they were calling for more pressure. Is she the one to give it? They do match up well against each other with height elevation.
Certainly adds the height. It's not totally uncommon. However, very different positions to play.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Jock stands out of play. And through. That's her ninth. The Thunderbirds out by 4 now. And there's our Nissan net points, powered by E-Power. Georgie Horges, all Thunderbirds in the top 5.
As you said, B, it's just calm, disciplined play from the Thunderbirds. Doesn't seem to be anything too specky going on, but they look really relaxed. They know each other inside out.
And every time the Mavericks surge, they just seem to take a breath, shoulder the pressure. But now things are looking different. The Mavericks with Cardwell in shooter, Wilson trying everything she can. And it happened to be the lean over the shot that got her the rebound. Petty, long to Williams. Aiken George over the hands of Jock. That's right, Shimona Jock is at goalkeeper for the Mavericks. 2.5 to play in this second quarter. Horges takes the drive. Resets to Petty. The Thunderbirds really caught high up in this attack third. They open it up through Horges. An offload to Frew.
Beautiful move from Frew there. She went the blind side on Jenna and just the quickest little dart of movement and slotted in there. Beautiful to watch.
Fraser clear on the centre pass. It's the second phase the Mavericks are struggling on. Cardwell back down, does the roll off, pushes off Garrett, finds some space. The battle is on between former teammates in that circle.
Get the feeling they're loving it as well. They're such competitive players. They want to be the one that comes out on top.
I think the more you push and shove Cardwell around, the more she fires up. Look at that in the background.
And this Adelaide crowd will get behind their girls in pink. Doesn't matter if you played for them before.
Look at that. A fair push and shove from Cardwell. Probably unnecessary, to be honest. Fraser. Cross to Nankivell. Sinclair. Staying outside to provide another feeding option. Cardwell goes for the screen on Garrett. They look and they turn. She launched herself off circle edge. She managed to keep it in. Brilliant stuff from the Thunderbirds captain. Look at this Harvey Norman replay. How wing defences can do that is beyond me.
I'm almost speechless at that. And that is your captain, and that is someone who is more of a bench player for the Thunderbirds. Unbelievable.
Can the Thunderbirds attackers repay her? Through. Ops for the baseline. Aiken George for 1. And the Thunderbirds out by 7. Aiken George leading the way. Leading goal scorer. Through now for 2. Pretty handy jump from Shimona Jock on the shot.
Not bad at all, but you can hear this Thunderbirds crowd just urging them to go for these 2-point shots. They want to see it.
And that is our first half done. 92% send from Romelda Aiken-George on your screens. It's been a great performance from her. It's been a great performance from the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They take their lead out by 8 going into the halftime break. Good to see her back out there. Parmenta and Jenna screaming at each other, being an option in defence. Montana Holmes comes on the court in centre for the Melbourne Mavericks, making her debut in Suncorp Super Netball. She's been a training partner for the Collingwood Magpies and a training partner for the Mavericks. A big opportunity for her tonight.
She adds a bit more height in that mid-court compared to Taylor Fraser. Interested to see what she can bring to this side.
Of course, the Mavericks missing Molly Jovic. Aiken-George.
Thunderbirds!
Straight away, a deflection. The pressure over the pass. Montana Holmes.
I think she just showed what she can bring to the side.
Let's get across to the head coach of the Melbourne Mavericks, Tracy Neville. Tracy, what have you made of that first half? Obviously the first quarter, but then in the second quarter they got on top of you.
Yeah, I think in that first quarter, like we took a lead on, and I think it was just a case of being really clinical to circle and just some silly mistakes, get them back in the game and give them the confidence that they needed. I think in that second quarter, I think where we wanted to attack it was a little bit through that 2-point as we went down, and again, silly mistakes, trying to throw the ball across the circle just punished us, and you know, we just can't do that against a quality side like the T-Birds.
Tracy, talk us through these changes you've made. Montana Holmes gets her debut, Maisie into the wing attack.
Yeah, I think this is a structure that we've played quite a lot, obviously with Molly in the middle. I think Mon being a direct centre, just changing it up. We also defensively weren't good enough in that second quarter, and Mod is a great opportunity to win ball for us as well.
Tracy, how do you want your attackers to attack this first 10 minutes and then the 5 to really regain control of this scoreboard back?
Definitely not like that. I think for me, getting each player on the ball, I think availability, really sticking to the game plan, and I think we're going off that now as we go through.
Well, appreciate your time, Tracy. We will let you get back to enjoying the action out on the court. Interesting to note, Montana Holmes comes onto the court as a centre, someone who can add the defence and attack to the game.
I think she showed that already just in the first few minutes, and also her tenacity is matching everyone else out on court. Big opportunity for her.
And coming up against another centre player that has the attack and defence end to their game in Taylor Williams. Ball in hand right now, launches it straight up to Aiken-George. And she'll be feeling very lucky that made it into the hands of Aiken-George. It wasn't the most precise pass.
It wasn't a well-placed ball at all, but again, thank goodness for Romelda Aiken-George for this Thunderbirds side. She just plucks it in.
Contact, wing defence, contact.
Wilson, front position, contests first ball.
Come over,
Mavericks.
over here.
With the penalty pass. Garrett straight away gives Nankerville some attention. Just a bit of a warning, I'm right behind you. Cardwell looks quickly in, great vision between the shooters of the Mavericks.
That ball speed from the Mavs is really good, and that's what's keeping, obviously, low and short, keeping it out of the hands of Sterling Humphries and Wilson.
Lewis disrupts the play of the Thunderbirds. Horges to Frew. Confidently sinks her 13. Becoming quite the threat now for the Thunderbirds in their attack end.
It was a really calm goal then. I think that just releases a bit of pressure for the Thunderbirds. You can get caught up in the speed and the intensity that these Mavericks bring.
Frew out for the centre pass, across to Horges. They lift it up to Aiken-George. This time Lewis tries to scoop around the front. The Thunderbirds seem to have an option for everything the Mavericks are throwing at them down in that defensive end.
And that's with that clarity of roles that they had, and I think that's what Tanya Oates and Kathy Fellows do so well as coaches. Every single player, as Shamira Sterling Humphrey gets up. It's what we're used to seeing.
Sterling Humphrey deflects it from behind. turns her hand, gathers it in. And Williams, again, the vision.
It's incredible. She's up to 14 goal assists, 21 feeds. Hits Romelda Aiken-George every time.
Thunderbirds out by 11. Gorgeous. Cross to Frew. Frew just threads the needle, but the penalties just release the pressure on the Thunderbirds.
Tanya Obst on the bench there was just yelling height to Frew. Just get a little bit of touch on that ball.
And that hands over pressure that we spoke about from the Mavs has really started to kind of fade off a bit. So they need to go back to that one-on-one, really own their position as we see Taylor Fraser with the wing defence bib on.
Smart centre pass structure from the Mavericks. They screened it off, but they couldn't make it count in the ring. Williams hits circle edge. Has to go across to the other edge. And Aiken-George with the aggression now on the take. It is a HCF tactical timeout. We're going to take a listen in to the Mavericks. Let's see if there is any changes.
As you know, Italian is all about raising awareness and funds for breast cancer research through the Hospital Research Foundation.
You play critical level, do you get me? Yeah. So it's ball by ball. It doesn't matter. I don't care what sport you play this. You got this.
You slowly chip away. Let's go.
Going into the
Let's go, take right. Yeah, let's go.
Good girl, so be brave here and do the work. It's all about that work right now, yeah? Let's go. Have a fly. Mavs on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Let's go, Christy.
Well, that was a fascinating timeout. We had Tracy Neville come out. She was fuming, wanted clinical play from her players. She then turned around and sat back down.
She wanted the players to work it out for themselves, and sometimes that's what needs to happen. As a coach, you can't generate everything yourself. You can give an opinion of how you think it's going. And as we see, Kim Jenner gets subbed to the bench. Christiana Manua comes on for her.
Body language tells a lot, and the Mavericks will be used to Tracy Neville. They'll get to know her coaching style, and she has given them a rocket a few times this season. Fraser comes up with the early win. Will that bring a smile to Neville's face?
The one thing I've spoken a lot about with the Thunderbirds is their unit mentality. With the Mavs, I find that they try and generate so much energy individually, but working together is something they need to build the pressure. It's not one bit of hard work, say from Fraser or from Nankerville.
And you see Cardwell then not chasing up the ball. Christiana Manawa on the court in goal defence, replacing Jenner.
Set out the way, Shiga.
Manawa has taken the court in 5 games this year. But of course, you would all remember her from her days playing with the Giants.
Goal third.
She's been over playing in New Zealand as well.
She reads the play beautifully, like most people who play in New Zealand do. She will fly. She's not afraid of hitting the body either, as we've seen, but I think we can expect to hopefully see her come through with some intercepts.
And at least give the Thunderbirds something different to think about in attack. Holmes to Nankerville. Sterling Humphrey eyes down, and Nankerville took the opportunity. Holmes, back they go to Fraser. The reset has to happen for the Mavericks. They're struggling to find that forward option. Garrett, she does it time and time again. She smothers the feed.
Interesting, Montana Holmes was free so many times in that play and they just missed her. That's that missing link with Jovic, and obviously not used to having Holmes out there.
And they gave Matilda Garrett all the time in the world just to watch and wait.
Down the other end, the Thunderbirds have multiple options at different timings on different angles compared to the Mavs, and that's what's working for them.
There's that Harvey Norman replay to show the fine work.
Oh, that take, sorry, B, from Romelda Aiken-George. She absolutely ripped it in. Wasn't a good feed.
They are getting away, the Thunderbirds, now on the scoreboard. Out by 14. And Holmes throws it straight over the sideline. It's getting messy here for the Mavericks. You've got Sinclair warming up in the background. You can't help but think they'll need to inject her back into the game. Wilson to Garrett. Takes every second she can. Through. Out to assist in the feeding, and there's another penalty call against the Mavs. Just under a minute till we hit the power 5. We see teams who are in the lower half of the ladder rely so much on the power 5 to sink the Suncorp super shots. The Thunderbirds don't necessarily want to go there, don't necessarily use it, but will the Mavericks be able to use that to fight back?
When you've got a Gabby Sinclair who shot 7 from 7 last week, that's exactly what they need in this moment, the Mavs. So I'd be turning to her and saying, come on and fire early and fire now.
What can you see over at the Mavericks bench, Maddie? Is there any movement happening?
No movement by the players, but the coaches are looking, you know what are the answers? What can we move? We don't want to move too much, but we also need something to inject a spark.
That's definitely a key, isn't it? Not to move too many players out of their positions. As we look at Tracy Neville and Nicole Richardson trying to problem solve on the go. Garrett storms down with the centre pass, up and high, and it's a push in the back by Manawa. How that wasn't seen.
How that wasn't seen is beyond me. It was a blatant push in the back. One thing I will say about
Wilson. You know what? She couldn't get the clean intercept, but straight away she makes the Mavericks think.
There was the call earlier about how the Mavs would go running out this game with the changes. We haven't actually seen the Thunderbirds make too many changes apart from Sterling Humphrey when she had to come off. Now we see Tilly Garrett. Her attacking prowess has been on show. She's running all over Cardwell at the moment.
The superior fitness from Matilda Garrett shining through. Nankerveld. This time, they try their luck through Jock, and as we've said already, the Thunderbirds continue to use their bench. Aiken-George now off the court. She deserves a bit of a breather, I think. An enormous game from her so far, and Lucy Austin in at goal shooter.
Could we see some super shots from Lucy Austin? She's not bad at them.
If anyone's going to do it, Lucy Austin is going to have a go. Absolutely. Shot 13 super shots so far this season. There's Aiken-George.
Contact, goal shooter. Yes.
Mavericks out by 14.
Gabby Sinclair desperate to get on court, but there's absolutely no chance except for now. Cardwell off.
An injection of speed into the Mavericks attack. Lucy Austin with the roll-up, arm in the air. Strong hold under the post. Nails her first for the Thunderbirds tonight.
That give and go from Horges was beautiful. She connects so well with her other players.
The whole attacking for the Thunderbirds are South Australian pathway players. Something the Adelaide Thunderbirds have been working on for the past few years, making sure they've got homegrown talent in their side, and now absolutely dominating.
Tanya Opes has been huge in that. She has been working with younger players for a long time throughout South Australia, and it's all coming to fruition now.
And a couple of handy Jamaicans to add to it.
Well, they're not bad.
And we must add one Victorian through Matilda Garrett.
Also a handy pickup.
There's Tanya Obbs on screen. Premiership winning coach from season 2023. And we all know the grand final will be here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. No matter who is in it, this stadium will be hosting. And I'm sure the crowd here are hoping it is the team in pink that are part of it.
These pickups from the Thunderbirds tonight have been outstanding. It's not a surprise because they are the #1 side, but they get to everything first, B.
It's their deceptive footwork. It's, I'm not on the player, but now I am. And so you think it's free, you release the ball, and then they come through firing through the line.
The pick-up certainly a stat that reflect the work ethic out there on court. And the one leading the pickups in the league is Molly Jovic, who of course is out for the Mavericks tonight. Sinclair, cross circle. They look to Holmes at the top. They've got to readjust. Cross court they go. Fire it to the top. Here we go. Gabby Sinclair. The crowd don't give her the appreciation she deserves.
That was the sweetest shot I think I've seen. Nothing but net from Sinclair.
And it was met by absolute silence here at Adelaide Entertainment Centre.
They are ruthless, this Adelaide crowd.
Austin. Manoa with the tip. Nankerveld tries to settle her team. Manoa has added a lot of deception into this Mavericks defence side. Gorgeous. Over the hands of Fraser. Wilson. Back with the wing defence bib on. They go long to Frew. Lucky to get out of that one with an easy pass to Austin. Second time round, she makes it count.
It's the patience and poise from the Adelaide attackers just to go back. Wilson and Garrett are there every single time. They do the little things so well. They're such a disciplined side at the moment, this Adelaide team.
Manoa to Sinclair. There's 5 seconds on the clock. Can they get it in? Contact call. They're going to run out of time. Sinclair can't get it away. Another huge quarter from the reigning premiers, the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They now take their lead out to 15. Don't go anywhere. We'll have the final quarter coming up after the break. And our game right here, the Thunderbirds and the Mavericks, the final quarter underway. Gorgeous. Cross to Garrett. There's too much on it. Jock waiting. Nankveld chasing it up. And Jock steps in. Not fazed by the pressure from Sterling Humphrey. Almost waits for that contact call.
Mavericks! The start stage quarter by the Thunderbirds have been a little bit unsettled. There's been a lot of turnover, I feel, from each of the first centre passes from the Thunderbirds.
Fraser to Sinclair. Back out to Fraser. Mavs really struggling to find an option. Back they go to Nankerveld. They lift it up this time. Patiently, they found the front position with Jock.
Interested to see how this front line goes. This is the front line the Mavs have been playing with when they have won their games so far this season. Tough when you've got El Cardwell on the bench, though.
And if you think about it, Sinclair, Jock, obviously a combination that played under Nicole Richardson at the Collingwood Magpies. Their connections go way beyond just this season. Fraser, cross to Manoa. Jock, just waiting. Neither Sterling Humphrey or Jock thought it was coming in.
That was an absolute bullet from Manoa. I was right behind her sight line. That was incredible. The power.
Sinclair along the base, opens the positioning up for Jock. Jock hits the deck, but helped up by her Jamaican teammate in Sterling Humphrey. Now opposition.
Thunderbirds!
Let's look at the Harvey Norman replay. Manoa sighted Jock, launched it to her. Whether you're ready or not, it's coming. Garrett to Sherian. Back through the middle channel, the Thunderbirds go. Aiken George, back out. She's got two on her, does not matter. Taylor Williams gave her the nod, said, it's coming in, you're right, you've got this. And she certainly rewarded her. Hands in the air from Taylor Williams.
the Mavs just have not been able to find an answer for Imelda Aiken-George tonight. She has absolutely dominated with 35 from 38.
And last time we were here at the Entertainment Centre, it was the same story when the West Coast Fever played against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Aiken-George, phenomenal.
She's at her best. I interviewed her this year and she was saying she's got she does not want to retire at all. Shuts it down as soon as you ask.
Plenty of years left in the superstar goal shooter.
Go in, Thunderbirds.
Couple of misses to her name, 4 now, but still shooting at 90%. Gorgeous into goal attack. Manoa really trying to pressure, trying to pull the hell ball. Nankerville long to Fraser. Sinclair, smartly placed.
The Mavs have really been struggling to get it over that attacking transverse line. They're not even taking those moves to try and draw something to get some depth. They've still got to go. Don't just crowd the space, still go even if you're not used.
It's what makes a good team, Mads, when you're willing to do that dummy run to free it up for somebody else.
Sherian misfires straight into the hands of Liv Lewis. Over to Manoa. Sinclair, the crowd here are calling for defense. And straight away, they got what they wanted. Sherian back out. Takes the safe option. Then takes the drive. There's Horges and Sherian. Often the two quick wing attacks in this side, but now teaming up. Liv Lewis. Time the block. This is where the Mavericks, especially in defence, can start to have a bit of an impact with the shorter goal attack on court in Georgie Horges.
It was beautiful from Liv Lewis. She had one that she almost got earlier in the game and got called for a penalty, but that you cannot fault it.
Nankerville and Wilson both hitting the deck.
Also to note, Hannah Petty back on in the centre position.
Thunderbirds out by 14. Mavericks to Sinclair. Can't escape the hands-over pressure of Matilda Garrett. It is an offside call, though, against Petty. A second chance for the Mavs. This time, they make it count.
Strong start to this quarter from the Mavs. Currently up 5-3, much better from them. Maybe that rocket from Tracy never worked in the last quarter.
Central obstruction, circle edge, yes.
89% shooting from Shimona Jock.
Contact, yes, wing defence, you're out of play, wing defence. Contact, goal defence.
Aiken-George.
Beside the goal shooter, yes. Obstruction, both players.
94 games of Suncorp Super Netball and ANZ champs for Aiken-George. Instrumental for the Queensland Firebirds, for the New South Wales Swifts last season, and what a pickup for the Adelaide Thunderbirds in season 2024.
She was certainly underestimated, and I think she's just proven the quality that she is as a player and a person. I know the Thunderbirds have loved having little Gigi around the club as well. She's a great team person, Imelda Aiken-George.
And in the off-the-court episode I did with Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, she spoke about how much she's enjoyed being able to live with Aiken-George and have that relationship that they do, obviously playing internationally together, but now getting to be teammates and housemates here in Adelaide. Aiken-George again, she holds that front position well. There's not much Liv Lewis can do if Aiken-George sets herself up in the front. We've got 8 minutes to play in this final quarter. Sterling-Humphrey disrupts. Jock tries to chase it up, and it ends up in the hands of the Thunderbirds.
The centre pass conversion for the Mavs has really been a problem. They're only sitting at 55%, a real key area they could be a lot better at to treasure the ball.
That play just then as well, Mads, took 3 passes just to get it back to the transverse line as well.
Horges quick to move the ball. Takes her first.
Manage offside, goal shooter.
Plenty of options to the ball for the Thunderbirds. They go the 2-on-1 option. Put Aiken George under all sorts of pressure.
That's it.
And Horges with her second. Lucy Austin just waiting behind the umpire there at the back of your screen. Goal shooter bib on.
Another deflection from Latanya Wilson. That takes her up to 8 for the match. Shamira Sterling-Humphrey with 6 deflections, 4 intercepts. We talk about this Thunderbirds defence all the time. This is the reason why they are a bunch of superstars.
Well, Latanya Wilson leading the competition in intercepts. That's followed very closely by Sterling-Humphrey. Sterling-Humphrey, though, leads in deflections. Maybe she's trying to take that one off her too. Horges shoots it quickly. Gets plenty of height over the hands of Lewis.
She just always looks in control, Georgie Horges. No matter what position she's playing, she turns with confidence.
Where you are now?
You talk about control. Horges is such a barometer for this Thunderbirds lineup. When she is firing, she looks calm. It really just is contagious across the court.
Absolutely. And I think Stacey Marinkovic spoke about Georgie Horges this week and about her smarts and how much she is looking at her for the Diamond side. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see her get a gig in the green and gold.
Who's riding her?
Fraser. Sterling-Humphrey deflects it, chases it up, and sends it back down the other end. Thunderbirds dominating the intercepts, dominating the deflections. But the Mavs with another win. Carmenta, captain of this Mavericks side. What have you made of Manawa since she's entered the game at goal defence?
Yeah, she's added something different for sure. The flies, the way she drives down the court, a little bit more energy. I think it's been a good change from the Mavs.
Sinclair, the lean from Matilda Garrett. She held it what seemed like over 3 seconds. Sterling-Humphrey with the block.
If one can't do it, the other one can. Who would want to shoot over those girls?
They have options. They have each other's back out here on court. And Sterling-Humphrey leading the league in block shots as well. Horges, Lewis tries down the other end. We're in the power 5. Austin. A lot on it, too much on it, and Horges has to chase it over the base. Remember, round 5, the Thunderbirds beat the Mavericks by 22 points. Look at that block from our Harvey Norman replay. Sterling-Humphrey just brilliant in the air. Matilda Garrett, brilliant on the intercept.
Read it like a book, did Garrett.
And this time, the Thunderbirds just take the one and take their score out to 19.
We talk about the Thunderbirds and how they use all 10 players in their team, and that's because every player out there does deserve to be on court. There is not one passenger. The work rate, the effort, no one thinks of themselves, I don't think, as a bench player. It's such a united team, and it's a happy team. You see Taylor Williams on the bench now, up on her feet, supporting her team when they're up by 20 goals.
Montana Holmes back on at wing attack. I saw Nankivell turn to the bench and say, I can't, rubbing at her belly. So not sure whether there's a little bit of an issue there.
Another one for the Mavericks. Kim Jenner enters the game at goal defence. Montana Holmes enters in at wing attack. Wilson, Sherian, the speed from the Thunderbirds. They've got speed on the ball. They've got speed on their leads. And now they're out by 20. Wilson again. Look at our missing net points, powered by E-Power. Completely covered in Thunderbirds players, the top 5.
Just there, yes.
Austin, she'll take the 2. It's blocked by Liv Lewis.
Obstruction, goal defence.
The only thing they haven't been able to add to their arsenal tonight is a two-point shot, the Thunderbirds. Will we see one actually land before the game is out? The crowd wants it.
That is offside, goal shooter.
Garrett. Gorgeous. They go high to Austin. Kim Jenner has a fly, but comes up short. Austin steps in. The cool, calm, collected Lucy Austin.
Wing attack obstruction in the centre circle.
22 the difference. Just over 2 minutes on the clock.
Contact, goal attack.
Sinclair out to Parmenter. They want to get it through to Sinclair. They do. They find her in the wide arc of the Suncorp super shot. Gabby Sinclair is blocked by Sterling Humphrey. Jock tried to position herself to protect the shot. Here she goes again. This time, the accuracy not there.
You'd think after Sinclair's game last week, they've done their homework on that shot. They did not want her shooting 100% again.
Obstruction, goal defense.
Garrett gets pulled for obstruction. Sterling, Humphrey and Jock fighting for that position. Humphrey's going to use Jock to protect the space now and get the rebound.
Obstruction, goal shooter.
What can't Sterling Humphrey do? Such a phenomenal athlete. Gorgeous.
Contact, goal
To Captain Petty.
in the two.
Lewis can't believe she's got the penalty call against her. But there's no time to worry. They've got to get back in the play. And Georgie Hodges sinks the Suncorp super shot for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They don't need any, but she's still going to take it.
Contact.
Austin out to Petty. 26 seconds. Petty and Sherian take their time, cherish possession. Lucy Austin, here we go. Huge smile on the face of Lucy Austin. And they can't finish it off with a goal, but they can certainly finish off the game. What a stellar performance from the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They continue their dominance in season 2024 and shoot their way into the top two. That is their biggest win for the season. And you can see the Pink Army here at Adelaide Entertainment Centre are very happy to be celebrating this one. And there the ladder is, and the Thunderbirds sitting in second position now. The Mavericks making it that little bit harder to get their way into that four. Captain Hannah Petty thanking the other side, wanting to get her team together to really be able to celebrate another win on this home court. They certainly have an advantage here in Adelaide. The crowd come to watch them play. They continue to dominate on this court. And let's go across to Maddie with our player of the match, powered by Arnott's Vita Wheat.
Thanks, B. I am with our player of the match, Georgie Hodges. I mean, how do you build on a performance like that as a team? Because it was pretty spot on.
Yeah, we're really happy with what we did out there. I think the first quarter was a bit iffy, so I think that's where we'll look, and we want to come out strong next game.
I mean, everywhere on the court, you bring on changes. It's really seamless. Talk about the messages that the coaching staff, but also you as a team, talk about that it doesn't matter whether you start on the court or on the bench, you're still really important to the team.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky to have 10 that can be out there, and it doesn't matter who's on the court, they'll do their job. So I think everyone's ready to come on and do their work. So yeah, we're really lucky to have that.
I think we've lost words on how to describe how brilliant you are with the ball in hand, but can you talk us through, like, do you speak to yourself? What mental stuff do you do to make sure that every time you've got the ball in your hand, it's a really good choice?
I think, well, in the first quarter I was a bit dodgy with the ball, so I made sure that I just nailed the next 3 quarters, and I think I have some really good targets in the circle, so it makes it pretty easy for me.
Well, we love watching you play. Another superb game, Georgie. Good luck for the next couple of rounds.
Thank you very much.
Well, Georgie Hodges continues to dominate this season, as do the Thunderbirds. And beaten. Let's take a look at the match summary, because at the first half, the penalties were a standout for the Mavericks. At the end of the game, what stands out to you?
Well, look at those gains. The Thunderbirds doubling the Mavericks. It's no surprise. We talk about the defence all the time, and there's a reason. 20 gains to 10. Also, those miss and net points are out of control. 582 to the Thunderbirds. The top 5 was always the Thunderbirds players, and those turnovers as well. Just 19 for the Thunderbirds, but 30 for the Mavs. You cannot be winning games if you are having 30 general play turnovers.
That's huge for the Mavericks. Let's take a look at the ladder. Remember, we are halfway through round 11. Still to come tomorrow, we've got 2 games. The Vixens and the Swifts, the Giants and the Lightning. That's going to help decide this ladder, but the Thunderbirds sitting now in second position above the West Coast Fever, who had a shock loss to the Firebirds earlier on today.